Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my beautiful Aries, to your July 2025 reading. This is going to be for Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Many of you are intuitively guided, and you know what I'm going to say next, unless you're new. That's your spirit guides. And that means that there's a message in here for you. So, anytime you feel guided towards a reading, whether it be mine or someone else's, or it doesn't even have to be a reading, like towards certain information, many times your guides are putting that before you to help you in some way. So, I feel like I connect to my spirit guides who connect to your guides. So, I completely trust in the right people will be here. Like if you find yourself here, feel like you're meant to be here. Um, you could certainly be in love with an Aries romantically, platonically. Same thing. Just be open to receiving messages for yourself. Again, your spirit guides know you're here. They probably sent you. So, um, and let me tell you, Aries, I feel like this is going to be a life-changing month for you. I feel like you're making some decisions and I feel like you're sticking to them. Cancer's energy, I feel, is going to be very good for you. Um, there is energy of, I think it's Uranus going into your sign. What was the date? Early in July, which could have you like finalizing things. Some of you, I have a feeling you may be telling someone you love them. This is something you've been like, I just want to tell someone I love them. This may be the month. Um, and hopefully they will say it back to you. But if they don't, then And but anyway, I don't even want to take that to it in a negative way because I don't feel that. I feel like you're ready to make a true commitment. Now, I know that's not everyone, um, but I just want to say, I just feel like this month, I feel like you're going to have a lot of guidance, um, like from above, divine guidance to really help some dreams become your reality. This is the month. This is the beginning. Like this is the beginning of what's going to open up. And by the way, I've been doing a podcast on compatibility in love, and yours was the first one I did, so it was very interesting. I will connect that at the end of the video on the end screens, so you can watch it if you want. I think it's like 10 minutes long, but it really breaks down like each sign, um, you know, who's your best match, who's your worst match, but it doesn't mean impossible. Even if it's like, maybe not the best match, there's still ways that we can work around that. And that's kind of what the podcast is about. It is your compatibility with other signs, but then a breakdown of that for you. And I really loved it. So I did yours, ours is Gemini. I think that's as far as I've gotten so far. So, anyways, I am excited to get into your reading today. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We're going to use a different clarifying deck. There's a card that doesn't want to come up. We're going to use the Crystal Vision. Well, hello, Knight of Pentacles. Speaking of guardian angels, guidance, Knight of Pentacles speaks about something coming in its right time. Something's coming in its right time. And it's interesting because it didn't want to be picked up with the other cards. It's almost like it wanted to be seen, not almost, it wanted to be seen. I can tell, I can feel it. That's the thing when I do readings. One of the reasons why the readings are longer is because your story is unfolding in front of me. And, I feel like there's always a silver lining, but Sometimes you do have to watch till the end, or at least skip ahead, whatever you choose. But anyways, this is great energy. I feel like when I said something, that this feels like a life-changing month, well, being ushered in by the Knight of Pentacles, perfect. That means something is coming in its right time. All right, and for your main spread, we're going to use the Tarot of Dreams, and we'll use the major arcanas for bullet points. Look at that, where the Magician didn't want to come up. Manifester. I mean, what powerful energy, the Knight of Pentacles, who is bringing something which I feel like would be an answered prayer, something that is definitely going to benefit your life. And then the Magician's energy, taking that, whatever, let's just call it a gift. And I love that the Magician is the one who is receiving it, because the Magician will create whatever the Magician wants to create. So this is powerful. All right. But let's go ahead and open up your reading. It's interesting. Every time I say open up your reading, I want you to understand that, at least at our table here, the readings start the minute I hit start. And one of the main reasons is because I feel like our guides give me some important information. Just like how I feel like this reading is going to be life changing, but in a very good way. So that's why um, when I hit start, I feel like the reading starts. Oh, look at that! Didn't even see that come out. All right, we have watched over, one of my favorite messages from Mother Mary. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. Wow. No wonder we saw the Knight of Pentacles. And then self-respect. I honor and love myself through my healthful actions. So you're being watched over, which is always the case. Some of you might just need that little reminder. And you're not just being watched over by your spirit guides. It's your whole spiritual team, your angels, your archangels. Before you came into this lifetime, you were assigned a whole spiritual team. And like your archangels, I think I also did a podcast on your archangels. I'll look that up, see if I can find it, and put it somewhere. I'll either put a link in the video or again put it on the end screen. Because it's really good to know who your archangels are, even your angels, because you can call upon them. And remember, angels need your permission to really work within your life, where your spirit guides are always sending you signs. Um, so invoke your angels. All right. Oh, let's go ahead and do the major arcanas. Since the day I added these back into the reading, I have to say, I personally feel like they bring so much value to the reading. I use them as like bullet points of, what our reading's going to talk about. But many times they have their own little messages. But I just think they bring so much value to the reading now that I don't even hesitate, but I use them immediately. All right. Well, hello, Star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But how about manifesting them with the Magician's energy and the Knight of Pentacles? So it feels like the Knight of Pentacles is telling you that there's a dream, a wish that is potentially ready to manifest. We'll see. Well, I shouldn't say we'll see because I already feel that. Also, card of Aquarius. I don't really read these as people so much. It's more the energy. We have, well, there's the magician. Perfect. Looking right over at the star. The star is looking right over at the magician. They are connected. They are connected. And then we have justice. Interesting. Card of Libra. This is about balance, truth. Um, this may represent like the final cutting of ties to really anything that's not serving you. Justice is about making you whole again, what's fair and just for you. But that sword, you know, you might need to use that, or maybe you already have, because I feel like once that takes place, then again, like the Knight of Pentacles, I come at the right time. So I have a feeling there's just something, and it doesn't even feel major to me, but maybe something like maybe you're feeling a little unbalanced. Um, but boy, this is powerful energy, Aries. Like, what do you want to manifest today? And by the way, perfect representation here because the star card, it is about your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, but it's about manifesting them. Like I can dream for 100 years. I want to manifest these. I want this to become my reality. So the magician's energy is perfect for that. The magician already has all the tools on the table. That means that you possess everything you need to be successful. The magician is action oriented, looking over at the stars. So I have a feeling there's going to be some type of action, maybe action required as these dreams start to manifest. And simply may just be moving into it. But we'll see why justice is here. Um, let's bring in the tarot of dreams. This will be your main spread. And again, everything's always pre-shuffled. But I do like to give them at least one shuffle with you here. Okay. Are you ready, Aries? I am. I am an open vessel for your guides and my guides of the light to bring you the clearest messages possible. All right, we start with the Seven of Swords, okay? Well, that's kind of explaining why justice is here. Seven of Swords is like the thief in the night. Whoa. Okay, your cards just went a little crazy. We had one go overboard. Leave that there. And let's take them as they came out. Four of Swords. Following that Seven of Swords. Beautiful. Hello, Ace of Pentacles. Under the Magician. And how about the beautiful sun? Your illuminator. The sun to me is like a brand new day, but it's unencumbered. It feels like the feeling of freedom. And I'm not talking like freedom from other people, just freedom. I don't know, like freedom to be. And then, interesting with the King of Wands, that is the one that went to the floor, and he is in reverse. So, this is who I'm using the sword on. So, the King of Wands in reverse is mirroring the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is untrustworthy energy. It's not that someone in the Seven of Swords can't change, but we can't change them. like your guides would say, don't spend all your time trying to fix someone who you can't fix them, they need to fix themselves. Anyways, Seven of Swords to me is someone who probably tells a lot of lies. Let's just put it this way. Whoever this is, or whatever energy this is, it has not been serving you. Then you get the Four of Swords, and that is healing. So I feel like, whoever, let's say, carried untrustworthy energy, I feel like you use that sword because this knight or this king is now in reverse. So I feel like he's out of the picture. He or she, by the way. The sun illuminating justice, so very clear on what's got to go. And I say what's got to go. It can be energetic, but like what's got to go to help me make the most out of these dreams coming true. Ace of Pentacles means something is coming into your physical world and it starts as a seed, but my God, can it blossom, especially with the magician's energy. And hello, sun. The Ace of Pentacles needs nurturing. The sun, making sure it's getting plenty of sun. And I do love that it's coming after the Four of Swords. Doesn't mean that you're completely healed. I don't know that we ever are. Um, but I feel like we don't want to get stuck, like stuck in it either. This could be a person, it could have taken some time. I feel like the sun is illuminating anything that's just working against you or anyone, and then allowing you to heal. Some of you, that could be exactly what you're praying for, like some healing. Well, you're receiving that. Accept it. I get this sense like I have to accept that. The sun is a card of Leo, and the King of Wands can be an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You know, the sun's gonna illuminate everything and everyone for you. That means that anything done in the dark, when the sun comes out, it will come to the light. And that's that. So I feel like it's simply asking you to ask yourself, like, where do you feel there's imbalance or something is, not fair, not just? And what can you do? Well, I know what you can do because I feel like the minute you use that sword, you're balanced. Doesn't mean, I'm completely healed or what have you. If someone could use the sword on you, I'm not gonna lie. Um, and I say that because I feel like for some, or all of a sudden I'm feeling like for some, like there was pain associated with that. So I'm feeling it both ways. So it probably is both ways. Okay, well, let's keep going. Let's go underneath it. Cards are a little crazy today. I feel like we got to take what's face up first, which is the King of Cups, which is the Seven of Swords. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, but it doesn't have to be that. The King of Cups to me represents love, um, relationships, but He has the Seven of Swords over him, reminds me of my ex-husband, who was a water sign, or is a water sign. All right, we have, look at that, two fours connected. So the Four of Swords connected to the Four of Pentacles. And then the Ten of Swords. But this is nothing that you have to worry about is going to happen. It's already happened. So now it feels like you may have given someone or something multiple chances to, let's say, come in the light, but it didn't happen. Ten of Swords to me is often like a repeat pattern. Definitely not standing in our power in that energy. It almost, to me, feels like submissive, like I expect a dagger to happen, and I'll be damned, a dagger happens. But it's a 10, and it wants to end. And the Ace of Pentacles seems like the way, like it's going to help you. And some of you, this is just the realization, maybe you did cut it off with someone who carried untrustworthy energy. Even that type of energy, because we were probably in love, it still hurts. Even though we know we deserve better, it still hurts. So this is giving you the time to really overcome that. But now, I feel like with the Ace of Pentacles and the Magician, it feels like it's action time. So, putting the past behind us as much as we can. I feel like you yourself have been working on your own foundation, which is great. 44. Some of you may be 44. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, there's someone out there who's 44. I know it. I know it. I feel it. All right, let's keep going. Jeez, oh man. All right, we're not going to take all these. Interesting, we have two Leo cards back to back. The Sun, which is Leo's ruler, and now the Strength card. Double Leo. But that may just be for, oh my gosh, look who made his way out. The Knight of Pentacles, beautiful. And with the Knight of Pentacles is the High Priestess, your intuition. Your intuition. And trusting that intuition. I feel like you've had to deal with something that was not easy. It does feel like it ended. Or let me put it this way. When I see the Ten of Swords, especially with the Seven of Swords, and if it's speaking of love, sometimes we just give our energy to the wrong people. Because I feel like what this is saying is, let's say I decide to give this person another chance or this situation, whatever it may be. I feel like it's telling you it'll just end up in the exact same spot. And then you will again have to go through this healing process. I feel like the Four of Pentacles is talking about your foundation. And coming into the Four of Swords, healing, and then mirroring the Star. Thinking about your foundation, thinking about anything like the Ace of Pentacles is something new. It's coming into your physical world, though. It's not energetic. It's literally coming into your world, whether it be a person, whatever, we'll see. But the Knight of Pentacles, again, guardian angel energy. Knight of Pentacles tells you, I come at the right time. And why? Well, often when I see the Knight of Pentacles, especially connected to your intuition, it's like the Knight is saying, this pentacle is meant for you. The Magician, singular, it's meant for you. And let's say I brought this pentacle in, but you were still connected to this Seven of Swords energy. I can almost guarantee that their hands would be out. Gimme, gimme, gimme. But it's not meant for them. It's meant for you. The sun is illuminating everything for you. You know, the good, for sure. But even the things that are not so good. I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is also saying, because it's coming, or it's connecting to the Strength card, which, by the way, is a number 8, which is the number of infinity, as above, so below. No beginning, no end. You know, it's interesting. I also started in the beginning of the reading, I talked about your archangels and your angels. Well, here they are. So, looking at the Strength card, it can talk about like looking within oneself. You know, the Strength card is about taming the beast within ourselves. But totally doable. You know, the light and the dark, or the light and the shadow, the masculine and the feminine. But it's really an energy of courage, because a lot of people never take that deep look within their choice. But it feels like it's almost like I feel like the hangman should be out here in the awakened state, because that's what I feel for you. I feel like you're awakening. You're awakening to the truth, but you're also awakening to opportunities. The Magician, with not only the Ace of Pentacles, but looking at the star. It's like, what do you want to manifest today? The sun, it's your warmth. It feels like even your protector. Like, for some reason, I feel Archangel Michael, like Archangel Michael protecting you. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Well, hello, Knight of Cups. How about unexpected cup of fulfillment? Maybe love. Look at that, another knight. Knight of Swords, communication. Nine of Wands, reflection. You know, the Knight of Wands, I call this person my spirit warrior. Much like the Strength card, because this is about reflecting back, but it's looking at each one of these wands as an experience and something that you've either mastered or overcome. And it's about celebrating who you are today because of these challenges, because of these, everything. And then the Knight of Swords with the Knight of Cups. Unexpected cup of fulfillment. I have a feeling it's love, but let's go step by step. You know, that Ace of Pentacles can also represent money. Um, you know, the money that you need to start something. I feel like the Magician is ready. Like, I'm ready to manifest. I'm ready to begin something. And the Ace of Pentacles is there to help. And the sun, it's like it's illuminating the way. All right, did I cut these? Oh, look who's on the bottom of the deck. Didn't I just shuffle them? Knight of Pentacles again. All right. We're going to start at the beginning. But we are going to read it as a whole. We have the Six of Pentacles over the Seven of Swords. So Six of Pentacles is that fine art of give and take. It's compassion. It's empathy. Coming over the Seven of Swords, someone didn't appreciate that. You know, justice really does speak about balance. And this can certainly say that, or talk about something that was not balanced. I think what I would ask yourself is there a situation where, you know, you gave what you could, your empathy, your compassion, your time, but you weren't receiving in equal measures? Because it really is about finding that balance, that true balance of give and take. Like, I shouldn't be the one asked to just give, 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 give. You know, with the Six of Pentacles coming over the Seven of Swords, I feel like if this is talking about a relationship, and let's say, you know, because we have the Ten of Swords, a relationship that potentially ended, um, it's showing the difference of these two people. Like, it's showing you in this very empathetic energy, in this energy where you care about your fellow man and woman. Like, this is someone who, and this is really your energy, Aries, where you love giving a helping hand. You know, you like to fix, and sometimes you can't fix. Like the person in the Seven of Swords, you can't fix them. They got to fix themselves. Like that is their probably spiritual lesson. Okay, keep going. We have the Queen of Wands. Interesting. With the King of Wands in reverse, Queen of Wands in the upright. Queen of Wands is coming over the Four of Swords and connected to the star. We have the Two of Swords. Interesting. Over the Ace of Pentacles. Hello, Magician again. Now, right over the Sun. And then the Three of Pentacles. Okay. I feel like someone did not appreciate you for who you truly are. You know, it feels to me like you've had quite a bit of spiritual growth. I feel like it's definitely showing your ability, or maybe this is something you've been learning, like how to use energy on my behalf. So, you know, even though I do feel like, yes, there does feel like there was some heartache, the truth of the matter is, I just don't feel like you were appreciated for all that you can bring to the table. But in the Three of Pentacles, there is someone admiring you. You don't know this yet. Like in the Three of Pentacles, someone's head's down, they're being creative. You know, and maybe that Ace of Pentacles, that's what's allowing that. Like it's to just allow your creativity to flow. So one person doesn't appreciate, or it could be, you know, if it's work related, it could be a few people, but it does kind of feel like one person. You know, if it's work related, then the Seven of Swords would be someone who would have no problem stealing your ideas, your work, and then claiming it as their own. But the sun, again, will illuminate that. It may feel like it took forever. Interesting, we have the Two of Swords over this Ace of Pentacles. So Two Swords, it's a little doubtful. Sometimes it means there could be something we just don't want to face. It's not the Eight of Swords, so it's not like, a self-created prison. It just means there just might be something that we need to face. And that could be the Ten of Swords. I guess I would ask you this. If you are, let's say you're still connected to someone who you just can't trust, like when they leave the house, the first thing you do is worry, like, where are they going? What are they going to do? Who are they going to be with? That type of energy, even if they're not doing anything. But there's a reason why you're feeling that, especially with the High Priestess right below that. I forget what I was going to say now. Oh, just that I don't feel like, they may see your qualities and maybe even secretly appreciate it, but I don't feel like they're ready to be in any type of high vibrational energy. I often feel the person in the Seven of Swords is more than okay with living, like just earthly. And what I mean by that is not bringing in my spirituality at all. Some people don't even know. You may have tried. And I feel like that's the main thing. Okay, let's keep going. Justice again. Now, right over the King of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Seven of Wands over the Ten of Swords. Interesting. The King of Pentacles. Can be Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. I don't think we have any of that out right now, but that's okay. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. Well, a much different way of looking at the Ace of Pentacles, right? The Two of Swords versus the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, they call it the Juggler's card, but I feel like it's just using your logical mind. It's coming over that Knight of Pentacles. And this Knight of Pentacles who promises that I bring in a pentacle at the right time. Well, it literally brought in that pentacle. It's asking you to trust your intuition, even use your intuition. This could be a pentacle that may not be like bright and flashy. It may be one of those things where you have to feel it and trust within it. And as much as I'm trying to like move on from what I feel is untrustworthy energy, maybe for some, like you really need to know this because justice coming over the King of Cups, I feel like that's talking about love. And then the Five of Wands, that is a lot of ego. Even the Five of Wands, it's the energy where nobody wants to back down. Interesting because you have the Seven of Wands right next to it, which really speaks about standing your ground. But sometimes I feel like to what point? Like to what point? Because in the Five of Wands, if I want someone to acknowledge, like tell me that you cheated on me, tell me you've been lying to me, they're not going to tell you. At least that's what I'm feeling. Like, I may tell you what you want to hear, but is that the truth? Well, the sun will illuminate that for you, or probably already has. So some of you are like, do I stay and fight or do I move on? That has to be your choice, but it feels like everything is saying move on. And then we have the King of Pentacles that's connected to the Magician and also the Sun. So, and then this question, do I take this pentacle? Which some of you, it is part of your dream system. It may come in like a very unexpected time or in an unexpected way, and that could throw you off a little bit. That's why your intuition is everything. All right, let's keep going. I am noticing that we have two justice cards, two magicians. You know, I'm looking for those synchronicities. And one of the main reasons is because we do have the Knight of Cups, which is an unexpected cup, usually of love. So that's why I'm looking for synchronicities, because oftentimes you'll see that like two individuals separately are going through similar situations. But we'll see. Dang, Seven of Swords again. And then the Three of Swords. Wow. Man, oh man. I don't know why, but I feel like maybe for a few of you, it's like maybe you are having a hard time moving on. And it is your choice, you know, whether you want to move on from the Seven of Swords. But everything is showing us that it will just be a repeat, that you will end up in the Three of Swords again. This means that your heart will be broken. But we have the Four of Swords here, the ability to heal that, right? So why do I want to go back again? You know, clearly you fell in love with this person, because I feel like it feels very difficult to move on from it. Like everything, I want to move on from it. I want to start talking about your future. I want to talk about this Ace of Pentacles. Why are we seeing these synchronicities? But I feel for a couple, it's really want you to understand that the person in the Seven of Swords just doesn't feel like they have any interest in changing. That's why we have the Seven of Swords again. But again, synchronicities, right? Justice, the Seven of Swords. Justice, the Seven of Swords. I could see two people in the near future talking and talking about their past. And someone saying, like, you won't believe the like what I was involved with. And as you're telling them, they're saying, holy shit, that sounds like my life. It sounds like you and I were going through similar situations at similar times. We have the Three of Cups, finally, some joy. Joy, 33. Hello, Four of Wands. This is a marriage card. Now, I am going to tell you that right now it is mirroring justice. So for some of you, let's call this the commitment card, really. They call it the marriage card. I call it the commitment card. True commitment, but doesn't always mean I get what I asked for. Because it's mirroring justice, I feel like for some of you, this is like the end of what was supposed to be a committed relationship. But listen, I feel like, but it's the beginning of something new. Life changing. Wow. Let's just say if you have the opportunity or the way to eliminate the energy of the Seven of Swords, that, my friends, will be life changing. And it feels like when you do that, that Ace of Pentacles shows. So it helps you really create a new life because next to the Ace of Pentacles is the Sun. And the Ace of Pentacles is surrounded by the Magician. Another synchronicity, by the way. All right, we have the King of Wands, and then we have the Ace of Swords. Interesting because we have the King of Wands in reverse, and now we have the King of Wands in the upright. Could that be a saving of a relationship? Well, I would have to say that there would have to be a lot of changes, at least in this scenario. But the Ace of Swords, to me, number one is my yes card. Number two, it speaks about truth to me. It is communication. Remember, we saw the Knight of Swords right under the Knight of Cups. I don't think these two kings are the same kings, to be honest. But I think what I want to do is I want to look at this king and this king. King of Pentacles, King of Wands, that's connected to the Four of Wands, which is really what I would call an ultimate connection. So I just want to look at them. We have the Three of Wands. Okay, that's good. That's optimism. Interesting with Three of Wands and the Four of Wands. So it feels like it starts with optimism. And that's what ultimately brings you in what I feel is going to be a true connection. Of course, if you so choose. Look what just showed up in reverse. Beautiful. You know, I hardly ever see this in reverse. This is a self-created prison in the upright. This means that you put walls up, barriers to protect yourself. But your intuition, that's your protector. Your spiritual team, that's your protector. You don't need these walls. But I feel like you realize that. So this makes me so happy. This is freeing oneself. It's freedom. Freedom. So one of these kings, or maybe it's for different people. I feel like this is something that is very good. Okay, I'm going to pick this up. And what do I want to look at? I almost don't want to look at the past anymore. Um, I want to look at the Ace of Pentacles with the Magician and the Sun. Ace of Cups. Interesting, because we have the Knight of Pentacles, who tells you, I bring in this pentacle. This pentacle is truly meant to enhance your life. It starts as a seed, but as long as you nurture this seed, it will just continue to blossom. It's like like a rose bush. It just blossoms one after another, after another, after another. Well, now it's also including love. And I could see the Two of Swords with that, especially because what some of you have been through, like, and it's coming because of this Knight of Cups. Oh, that's what I was saying. Each knight has delivered what they promised to deliver. Remember, every knight will complete its mission, come hell or high water. Doesn't mean you have to accept it, but we have the Knight of Swords, we have the Ace of Swords, we have the Knight of Cups, we have the Ace of Cups, we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Your spiritual team is following through. So, this means love is coming into your physical world. Now, I don't think that's the only thing, because I feel like with the Magician and the High Priestess, I feel like you're creating here also. This is great energy for, well, let's just look at the Three of Pentacles alone, because the Three of Pentacles really talks about your individuality and celebrating that. This is about your creativity, what you do in the world, let's say. But this is about other people admiring that. If you had any fear, because that Two of Swords again over the Ace of Pentacles could be a little fearful. You just have to trust in yourself. And I feel like in the Three of Pentacles, again, it is celebrating you. But it could be the beginning of something. Like, a creative project. Or even a business. Whatever you want to do. Aries, I often feel like, let's just think of your major arcana, the leader of the people. You are really the seed planter. You determine our harvest in the fall. If you plant no seeds, we have no harvest. Well, these are seeds, and it looks like we're going to have quite a beautiful harvest. Okay. You know what I want to do? I want to get rid of this, what I feel like is meant to be past energy. Though I do want to tell you that I do see the synchronicities. So, as it relates to love, well, let's just say it doesn't have to start as love. Just someone I meet, but then we have this conversation. I feel like very quickly you somehow will realize that the synchronicities between the two of you are great. Also, you're probably both on the same vibrational energy. It's like attracting like. But this also feels like the right time. Unfortunately, someone couldn't love you in the way that you deserve to be loved. But that doesn't mean that someone else can't. And really, it feels like someone's going to love you probably better than you've ever been loved. That's why this energy of the past really, let's close the door on it if we can. Okay, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm closing the door. So I want to pick up Or maybe what I should do is pick up what I want to keep. Let's keep the Magician. I know some people hate when I do this, but if I feel it, I gotta do it. I'm gonna bring up this King. All right. So now, what I really want to do is look at the energy moving forward. Actually, I should shuffle them back in, which I will. Let's do it this way. The way they came out. Just the Virgo in me needs my card straight. All right. So, what I kept is the Ace of Pentacles, the Sun, the Knight of Pentacles, the High Priestess, your intuition, the marriage or commitment card, the Magician. Oh, I just realized, I promise you I didn't do this on purpose, but the Magician now mirroring the Magician, and then the Ace of Cups. So, and the Knight of Cups, let's not forget about that. All right, so let's give this some shuffles. Get those cards mixed in good. And then we're going to look at it from this point of view because I feel like this is us now in present energy moving forward. You know, I love the Sun next to the Knight of Pentacles because the Knight of Pentacles, well, actually, the Sun coming in between the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. It's like this Ace of Pentacles coming in the light. Six of Wands and the Four of Cups didn't want to come up. Let's give them one more shuffle. Four of Cups can talk about discontentment or boredom in one's emotional world. But it does talk about a cup that comes in. And we already have that cup. All right. Tell me more, tell me more. By the way, the Magician, his is back to justice. And he's looking at the star. Dang, Seven of Swords keeps coming out. Okay. The Nine of Swords in reverse. Beautiful. How interesting. You got the Eight of Swords in reverse and now the Nine of Swords in reverse. Two cards that I very seldom see in reverse. This is worry. This is a lot of worry. This is sleepless nights. Can turn into anxiety, depression. It's definitely energy that has to be dealt with. You know, this is about unnecessary worry. And I love that it's in reverse. I feel like what this is saying is you have learned to read energy. And I feel like the Seven of Swords that came out again, I feel like if there's any chance of that showing back up again, you would just kick it out of your life immediately. Like, I feel like you've just come so far. But listen, sometimes the Seven of Swords can talk about narcissistic type energy, and sometimes they just don't want to give up. but you're giving them the axe. We have the Queen of Swords, like you're speaking your piece. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Does have Libra right there, but honestly, I feel like it's you. Male or female, by the way. And I feel like this is just your truth, your honesty. You know, you're no longer worried. You're not worried about lower vibrational energy. Why? Because you can read it now. You can feel it if it's coming towards you. And you can close that door and lock that door. There's that Four of Cups. So, discontentment, boredom in one's emotional life. But the Ace of Cups is kind of answering that for you. And although you can't see it in this image, which is too bad, but you usually see a cup coming in, and it's coming from the hand of divine. So I can either focus on the cups that didn't work out, but really this person is looking or would like to have love. I don't, looking, maybe not looking, but I'd like to have love. And then the Knight of Swords made its way out. How about some communication? Over the Four of Wands, also connected to the Ace of Pentacles. Queen of Wands came back out. Over the Magician. It's like reminding you of your power. The Magician, even the High Priestess, as it relates to the Fool in Tarot. And, let's say when you see an ace, that usually means we're beginning something new. So think of the Fool. The Fool is someone who lives in the present moment, puts the past in the past, extracts the wisdom of one's experience, but lets the worry go, anger, whatever. I'm on to something new. And then the next person, the first person the Fool meets is the Magician. And the Magician teaches the Fool, you already have everything. You possess all the tools that you need to truly be successful. I feel like your vibration definitely has raised. Your understanding energy, your spirituality is probably growing by leaps and bounds. And it just makes sense that those who are not, naturally, the universe wants to let them fade away. It's the humanness within us that tends to pull it back. But I feel this sense of you knowing what you want. Or let me put that a different way, because I may not know exactly what I want, but I know what I don't want. I know what I don't want. And I feel like you're actively now putting energy into manifesting. Like this Ace of Pentacles, it can be a new job. It can be a creative avenue. It can be something that was on the back burner that can now come to the front burner. I feel like what this is saying with the Seven of Swords showing again is there just seems to be energy where you couldn't be all that you can be. And now it feels like you have the opportunity to truly be all that you can be. And I feel like you're falling in love with someone who is very like-minded. That means that their energy, their vibration is at the same level as yours. Doesn't mean we're done learning, because I feel like we're always learning, we're always evolving, and that's the thing. That's what I feel. I feel you have evolved and someone else hasn't, and that's that. And so be it. So be it. Because I feel like you've tried everything you could do. And now I feel like you're not giving this person any time and allowing them to take up any space in your brain, in your heart. And that's what's opening up all these, what feels like blessings. You know, you literally are over the magician that is mirroring the magician. Sitting next to I just realized this Four of Wands, which is true love, is mirroring the Ace of Cups, which is unconditional love. We have the Five of Pentacles, and then we have the Page of Wands. Okay, so I feel like what this is saying is one way we can look at this is just to realize, we can look back at our life and see that the majority of our relationships didn't work out for one reason or another. And learning not to get stuck, right? Stuck in something that we know is not working out, that we know chances are not going to change. And then the Page of Wands me, that is your inner child's energy. And I often call the Page of Wands my fool, because this is my risk taker. Now, sitting next to the Five of Pentacles, it makes complete sense to me, because I feel like what this is saying is just understand, or don't put yourself down for the things that didn't go right. Like, be proud of yourself for taking chances. But not all chances are going to work out. But that doesn't mean you should stop taking chances, because some of them are going to work out. And let's go right below. Even the Page of Wands um, coming under the Four of Cups, where there is a cup coming in. The Four of Wands, or the Four of Cups, the message in that is learning to use one's spiritual discernment as it relates to any decisions you want to make. This is an emotional one, but it's coming over the High Priestess, so it's asking you to trust your intuition. And I have a feeling it's something you've been working on anyway. So that becomes easier and easier to trust your intuition when you actually start trusting it. What do I mean by that? Well, I feel like there's many times we're given red flags, but we ignore those red flags, and we've all done that. So there's no judgment here, like zero judgment. But we have, right? We've all had red flags. We've all been in relationships where, we were in love and then something happens and it ends. Um, it's not easy, even the ones that were really difficult. But I feel like what you should say to yourself is, or let me put it this way, I feel very proud of you, because I don't feel like you're going to stop taking chances, and I don't want you to. Especially with these aces showing. Like, this is not the time not to take a chance. King of Pentacles again. male or female, but it feels like this king wants to be part of, I want to say, your new life. And then look at this, the Two of Wands. It's go time. Two of Wands, this is you stepping upon your natural path. This is action oriented. This is passion ignited. There's really nothing to fear on the Two of Wands energy. It's really exciting, adventures. And I feel like what it's saying is you are going to take a chance. Take a chance on me. Take a chance on you. You're going to take a chance. And I feel like that's all it's asking for. Like an ace to a two, I really feels perfect. Because if we remember, like the magician looking at the star, where you are the magician, and the star is your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, and your ability to manifest them. And yes, it does mean that there's some risk involved. But I almost feel like there's no way I feel like you're going to repeat the energy of the past. I just don't. All right, I'm going to go right in the middle. And then we'll bring out the clarifying love situations and maybe the romance angels. Then we'll let it be. We have the Chariot. Well, there's Cancer's energy, which we're in. Chariot is about unlimited potential, but it is once you found balance. It is the balance of the feminine and the masculine, the light and the shadow. And remember, the Chariot moves by your intentions, but it does represent unlimited potential. The Nine of Wands. So I feel like you clearly know. The Ace of Pentacles again. The Tower. And then the Six of Cups. Interesting. Interesting. Some of you might. Interesting. Well, the one thing about Cancer's energy is it can bring back people. Now, of course, it could bring back the Seven of Swords, but I'm not even worried about it anymore because I feel like at this point in the reading, you're so much stronger. Like I feel like they don't have a leg to stand on. And then we have the Six of Cups here, which is really about nostalgia. And it's interesting because that is another word. I don't know why I didn't say it, but it's a word that I got for you from your guides before I began. Well, as I was shuffling the cards, nostalgia. Well, that's what the Six of Cups is. Now, this usually means it can represent a person. But in this energy, this would be someone who, if I do know them, they would bring a smile to my face. This day and age with like social media, where people are like putting, I'm in a relationship or it's complicated or I don't even know anymore, or single. I feel more people as they are moving out of, let's just say, relationships that are really making their life hell. I feel like they're proudly putting single on their status. And that could be why someone may pick up on that. Remember, that Knight of Swords is right underneath that. I picked up the Ace of Swords. I don't know why. Remember how I said in the beginning that you might be telling someone you love them? Wow. This can also be past lives. All right. I was going to end it there, but I just want to follow that Six of Cups for a second. Just my own curious mind. The unknown card. That's the High Priestess. You know what it reminds me of? What did they call those? Like the Magic 8 Ball? I don't know. A lot of you probably weren't around when it was big in my time. You shake it and you'd ask it a question, you shake it, and sometimes it would come up like the answer is unknown. Well, I feel like it's unknown because you're creating it as you go along. Remember, you are the pen and the paper. This is your story to write. Yes, divine is 100% involved, but your free will allows you to create whatever you want to create. And the chariot's really representing your unlimited ability to really be and do all that you want to do. What is it you want to do? This is the month. At least this is the month to lay the groundwork. But let me tell you something, Aries. I feel like after a long stretch of heaviness, probably hurt, uncertainties, and all that goes along with that, it feels like you're in a completely different energy now. I feel like you didn't allow someone to change who you are at a core level. They probably tried, but you didn't allow it. So, it kind of reminds me of a relationship I was in, and not with, I forgot to say, hello to my Aries friend on March 22nd. Um, Not that person, but someone else I was with. What was I going to say? Oh, they were very abusive, but they couldn't change who I was. Like I knew, or I said to myself often, Sandy, this will not be your life. This will not be your life. It took me 5 years. It's interesting. All of a sudden, I'm realizing there's a lot of fives in my life. Um, but I have to say, though, when I left it, when I finally got out of it, my whole life changed. My whole life changed. So, I feel like the unknown card, it is the High Priestess, but I feel like it's just, you're writing this chapter as you go along. But it's like all the blessings, um, everything you need, really, to have a successful life is here. It's just what will you do with it? What do you want to do with it? Are you going to tell someone you love them? Is someone going to tell you they love you? Are you building a business for yourself? These Aces of Pentacles, you have two of them now, three of them. Like, and the star, it's like, like that rose bush. It's not just one blossom, but then you get another and another and another. And maybe it's each time you pick one and you smell the roses, another one comes. So, this is a month to smell the roses. All right, let's bring in the clarifying love situations. Give him a cut, give him a cut. I have a feeling your reading's going to be a little extra long, but it's what it needed today. Flight plan. Sometimes things fall apart for better things to come. Wow. Flight plan. Sometimes things fall apart for better things to come. Amen to that. You know, it's like, it just kind of explains your whole reading. All right, let's finish this with the romance angels, since we do have love in the picture. Though I want to say, I feel like this is, it just feels life changing. I knew it was going to be life changing. Um, but I feel in quite a few different areas. Really, I feel like what areas you want. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Okay, so I feel like that has to deal with the past. But don't judge yourself on that because, again, we all get those red flags. And, you know, eventually we learn to listen to them. Our intuition. That's where the red flag comes. Our intuition will let us know. Then we second guess it. Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. Let your friends help you. Interesting. Could be a friend who's got someone in mind for you. Okay, I'm not taking all that. But I am going to take this one, since it's the only one that's flipped up. This could be the one. You already met the romantic partner you seek. Interesting. Well, I feel like that ties back to the Six of Cups. This could be the one. And I'm going to let that be. I'm going to let that be. You know, there's a lot of information in this reading. A lot of it wanted to talk about the past. But, you know, I feel like we have to understand the past and our own growth from it. Again, you're raising your vibration, but that doesn't mean other people want to raise theirs. So sometimes, you know, even friends can change. But you're moving towards like-minded energy, even in love. And I feel like one of the clues is going to be that through discussions, through probably a deep discussion, even if we're just reaching out, who knows? Maybe the Six of Cups is an old friend, but someone that, I don't know, maybe you've had some romantic feelings about. But that would be definitely back in the day. So I wouldn't be surprised. Um, I wouldn't be surprised, especially in Cancer's energy. Okay, I think I'm going to let that be. You know, the one thing I want to say is every night that showed, every one of them completed their mission. Everyone brought you in everything you need to really change the areas of your life that you want change in. You know, using that sword of justice. whether it's cutting ties with the person or energetic ties. The magician is no longer looking at justice, he's looking over at the star. So this is a time about manifesting your dreams, but knowing that you deserve these dreams to become your reality. So it's not just about falling in love, though that's a big part. And who knows, these two, I think we saw 3 aces of pentacles. And being ushered in by the Knight of Pentacles, guardian angel energy. That probably means something may have been predestined. Now, it could be this love, but could also be something that you're very good at. And then trusting in that. Like, I could see some of you starting a brand new business. I could see some of you in a brand new love relationship. And it's interesting I'm saying relationship, but I do feel like I feel like this is something that moves quickly. Okay. I'm gonna let that be. I don't want to make this extra long. I love you guys. I thank you so much. Um, my wish is if you are still connected to untrustworthy energy, that your guides find a way to help you find your power so you can make the changes that I feel like you want to make. And a lot of you already have. And, I feel like these readings are roadmaps to how do we live our best life? How do we live our best life? Evolving, growing, taking chances, knowing that all of them are going to pay off and being okay with that. Being open to this new energy that's coming into your life. But it really is all up to you. So my wish is that these blessings find you. But I also, as soon as I said that, I'm thinking, but a lot of it has to do with you manifesting them. So the willingness to put action behind your wish, let's say. All right, let that be. I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.